Hey everybody, today I just wanted to step through some of the camera functions for No Creeps Were Harmed. Some people find it a little strange at first. The game is pretty 3D with a lot of complex maps, so the camera has got quite a few functions to it. And I'm here to just sort of walk you through some of this stuff if you find them a little confusing. So the first thing we're going to look at here is just the basic zoom function. It's pretty straightforward. You pretty much point the mouse where you want to zoom and use the wheel. This works as it does in a lot of RTS games or even Google Maps. I'll move on to the rotation. So you use the middle mouse button and you'll see kind of like a pivot point appear in the middle of the screen. This will be where your camera rotates around from. Again, this should be pretty straightforward camera manipulation stuff. I won't spend too much time looking at that. I'll move on to the panning though, because that's a little bit of a hang-up for some people. So panning works in a screen relative way. As I'm looking straight down, the camera is panning left, right, forward, and back. But if I tilt the camera to the side, the vertical panning becomes up and down, so it is screen relative. And if I tilt this underneath, you can see that it pans like that. So the best way to think about this is you're physically grabbing the map and moving it. So I'm going to grab this little green square here, and I'll just relocate the map where I want it to be, and that'll stay absolute. So as I rotate down here and grab this red thing, you can see that I'm just simply moving that object where I want it to be. Again, I'll tilt the camera on its side here, I'll grab this orange tile and move the camera where I want it to be. It definitely helps to think you're moving the map itself and not so much the camera. There's also a bunch of hotkeys, so WASD works exactly how you would expect it to, so like a first-person shooter, forward, backward, left, and right. And it doesn't really matter which way I tilt the camera, forward and backward will always be forward and backward along a plane. Again, just like a shooter. The E and the C key will allow you to move the camera up and down in world space, so that is directly up and down, and it doesn't matter which way the camera is tilted, that'll always be up and down according to gravity. And then Q and Z will be up and down according to the screen's position, so that'll be a screen relative up and down. I know there's a lot of buttons and functions here, but you can always change these around or at least reference them from the options menu. I've tried to give people all the power they need to manipulate the camera, but if some of this stuff isn't where you like it to be, you can change it. All the inputs can be changed. There's some other camera options here that you can tinker with. There's also a bunch of on-screen buttons you can use, so if you ever get your camera really lost, you can click the reset camera and it'll pop it back to the default position. You can click on Brian's selection card here and it'll zip you back to wherever he is. You can click on your driller icons up here to quickly get over there and take a look at them. I've also paused the game to look at these creeps on the map, so you can see these little indicators here with a number next to them, so that's the closest creep that's approaching that driller. And if you click on that, it'll take you to the offending creep, where you can deal with it, mark it as a priority target, or get Brian over there to attack it, whatever you need to do. As you can see, I've got a few maps here that are quite complex, and you will need to get under and around some of these things. This map here is entirely on the wall, so having things move on a horizontal plane really would just work against you here. This map is also quite complex, and you do kind of need to get under it a little bit. This map here actually has an upside down component. All the camera functions still work the same. You simply grab the map where you want and relocate it, pan it around, move it around. You are navigating a 3D object here, so some of these maps might take a little getting used to, but if you really don't like a certain map, you don't have to play it. This is the only map I have at the moment that has an upside down part. I don't try to make all the maps as confusing as possible intentionally, but some of them are pretty crazy, but they're also pretty interesting. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope this helps people understand why the camera works the way it does and why I've made some of these decisions. I am totally open to suggestions if people have feedback on how to improve this kind of thing. But yeah, that's a little insight into my madness. But please enjoy the game in the next few days. The game's coming out on the 18th. I hope you all give it a try. Have a great day, everybody.